Asmat Gurubhyo Namaha, Asmat Parama Gurubhyo Namaha, Asmat Sarva Gurubhyo Namaha. I start by offering all my respects to all my teachers, and we are continuing on with our discussion of the Vastu Sangraha compilation of architectural pujas or rituals compiled by Rama Ramanujacharya in Australia. So let us have a look at the text. Today we're talking about a Vastu Shanti Prayoga. Vastu Shanti Prayoga. Usually a Shanti rite is meant to pacify any, Shanti of course means peace in Sanskrit, so it's meant to pacify any of the subtle living beings that are associated with the house or a temple, with the building itself. So he starts off saying, please note, Vastu Shanti can be done with or without homa. So with or without the fire aspect, the fire ritual aspect. In this section, we first give the puja and then afterwards the homa. So the family assemble in front of the house at an auspicious moment. So previously, up until this, we had done some pujas for laying foundation stones for a house that was not built already. Here we have a building or a house or a temple that's already been built. And so we're pacifying the subtle living beings associated with that house or that temple, right, after the fact, after the building has been built. So it says here the family assembled in the front of the house, meaning that everybody goes outside the house or the temple. At an auspicious moment, while chanting the following slokas, they enter the building with the sumangalis. Sumangalis in India, the word sumangali means auspicious ladies. And these are ladies who are currently married with their husband, living with their husbands. And some people say that they should also have children. And some people say also that they should have at least one son. In any case, they're married ladies. They're considered auspicious sumangalis. Sumangalis going in front carrying purna kumbha. Purna kumbha means a pot, a decorated pot full of water with a coconut and mango leaves on top. So we've discussed about what a kumbha is in some other discussions. And other auspicious articles. Other auspicious articles could mean a lot of things, so we won't go into that exactly here. If the house is already lived in, then this can be omitted. If the house is already lived in, then this can be omitted. So we've got two situations here. First situation is where the house or the temple is freshly constructed, but we didn't do any of the rites before when we did the foundation or any of these things like that. Or even if we did do those, when we're entering the house for the first time. So, for instance, a Griha Pravesh, and the house is freshly constructed, so it hasn't been lived in before. We could also suggest maybe we could also do this when the house has been renovated, fully renovated, or a temple fully renovated. So it says here that if the house or the temple has already been lived in, then these steps can be omitted. So here are the following slokas. They're Vedic mantras to be chanted. So once again, with any Vedic mantra, if you want to learn how to chant it correctly with proper swara intonations, tonal intonations, then you need to contact me, and I will get you a proper Vedapati's chanting of the sense. I'm just going to run through them here, but without the proper intonation, because I don't know them to that extent. Purnam nari prabhara kumbham etam vitasya dharam amritena sambritam imam patrin amritena samangdi ishta purtam abhi rakshatye yenam imapaha pra bharyam yakshma nashanihi Rahan upa pra siddham yamritena sahagnina. Okay, so the next thing is the Swasti Suktam. Suktam is a prayer, a Vedic prayer. And Swasti means for auspiciousness. So, Swasti no nimitam ashvina bhagaha swasti devya ditir anarvanaha swasti pusho asuro dadatu na swasti dhyava prithvi suchetuna. Swastaye vayam upabravamahai somagum swasti bhuvanasya yas patihi brihaspatagum sarva ganagum swastaye swastaya adityaso bhavantu naha. Vishve deva no adya swastaye vaishvarano vasuragnis swastaye deva avantri bhavas swastaye swasti no rudraha patvagum ashaha swasti mitra varuna swasti pataye revati swasti na indras chagnischa swasti no adite kridi swasti pantam anucharema surya chandramasa saviva punardadata granata janata sam game mahi. So next there's another swasti vachanam and a statement of auspiciousness for auspiciousness. Now this one seems to be, it doesn't seem to have any swara markings, so it may be classical Sanskrit. Swastayestu sada Vishnuhu, swastayestu chaturmukhaha, swastayestu sada vanihi, swastayestu yamas sada, swastayestu Nirityakya swastaye varunostu naha swastayestu sada vayuhu swastayestu daneshwaraha swastayestu sadeshanaha swastayestu marudganaha swastayestu swastai santu vasavo rudrascha swastaye tata aditya swastaye santu Munaya swastaye tata. Gandharva swastaye santu. Swastaye santu kim naraha. Swastaye santu nagascha. Swastaye santu nagaha. Swastaye stu vishveshaha. Swastaye saras sada. Apsaras sada. Swastaye santu nadyascha swastaye santu sagaraha swastaye santu shailascha vedascha swastaye tata swastaye swastaye mataras santu pitaras swastaye tata deva parishadas sarve swastaye santu sada swasti Bhagavantanam tu swasti chapyagra jan manam. Swasti Vaishnavanam tu Swasti Chaiva Gavamapi. Swasti Vai Stavaranam tu Jangamanam Tataivacha. Swasti Chaivata Mantranam Swasti Vai Karmanamapi. Okay, so boiling of milk. A new pot filled with milk is placed upon the stove, brought to a boil, and allowed to overflow. The following Vedic mantra is chanted. Ihaiva dhruva pratitishta sale svavati gomati sunrita vati urjasvati vitavati payasvati payasvatyucharayasva mahate sobhagyaya. Then we have to perform the Purvangam. Purvangam, we've discussed before, is available in the Puja Pustakam. If you look in Ramaramanujarya's PDF of Puja Pustakam, he explains the Purvangam. So part of the Purvangam is the Vigneshwara Puja. Here he's going to explain the Vigneshwara Puja with the specific sankalpam, the specific vow for doing the Vastu Shanti. So here's the sankalpa. Hari Om Tat Sat Govinda 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 Mama Yajamanasya Upata Samasta Duritakshaya Dwara Sri Parameshwara or Sriman Parameshwara or Sriman Narayana Prityatam, or in the case of Tengalai Sri Vaishnavas. But that's so, for instance, for Smartas, it would be Sri Parameshwara. For Vadagalai Sri Vaishnavas, it would be Sriman Narayana Prityatam. For Tengalai Sri Vaishnavas, it would be Bhagavadagyaya Bhagavad Kankayurupena, in the brackets here. Karisyamana asmin Vastu Shanti Homa Karmani Nirvignena Parisamaptyatam Atao Vigneshwara Pujam Karisye. Continuing on. Okay, then we either perform the Ganesha Puja or Vishvaksena Puja. Now, obviously, if you're doing the Vishvaksena Puja, you will not say Vigneshwara Pujam Karisye, we will say Vishvaksena Pujam Karisye. So that is a short sankalpa. Now, here's a longer sankalpa, including the astrological date and time and place, and the names of the yajamanas or the sponsors of the puja. So let's go through that. Tadeva Lagnam Surinam Tadeva Tarabalam Chandrapalam Tadeva Vidyabalam Devapalam Tadeva Lakshmipate Te Angriyugam Smarami. Hari Om Tatsara Shubhe Shobhane Mugurte Asya Bhagavato Mahapurushasya Sri Vishnu Agyaya Parvatamanasya Adya Brahmano Dvitiya Parade Sri Svetavaraha Kalpe Vaivashvataman Mantare Kali Yugasya Pratamapade Bodhavatade Chakabde Meroho Dakshina Paschima Uttara Tikpage, or whatever direction you are from the Himalayas, Mount Meru. And I'm going to say again the word Amukha, which means such and such, whenever there's a dash, and you have to fill in the specifics. If you don't know how to do a sankalpa like this, then you need to take a lesson on how to perform sankalpa, and let me know. And there are lessons available about how to do this. Amukha deshe, Amukha rajye, Amukha mahanagari, antargate, asmin vartamananam, vyavaharikanam, pravavadi, shasti, samvatsaranam madhye, Amukha nama samvatsare, Amukha ayane, Amukha rito, Amukha mase, Amukha pakshe, Amukha tito, Amukha vasare, Amukha nakshatra yuktayam, Shubha yoga, Shubha karane, Shubha yoge, Shubha karane, Shri Vishnu yoga, Shri Vishnu karane, Sakala graha guna visheshana vishishtayam asyam shubhatitau Amukha gotro bhavasya Amukha nakshatre jatasya Amukha nama yajamanaha. So, Visheshataha asya yajamanasya sa kutumbanam, sa mitranam, sa parivaranam, Kshemasteriya Derya Virya Vijaya Ayu Arogya Aishwaryanam Abhividyatam Dharma Ata Kama Moksha Chatovida Purusha Phala Siddhyatam Ishta Kamyarta Siddhyatam Savarishta Shantyatam Sarvabishta Siddhyatam Samasta Mangalavaptyartam Asmin Grihe Vidyamana Dharu Pashanadi Samasta Griha, and whenever you see the word Griha, if it's a temple, then you can exchange the word, substitute the word prasada instead of Griha. If it's not a house or some other name in Sanskrit for the building that you're doing this to. Nirmana upakarana dvara janita sakala dosha Shapadi Nivrityatam Adityari Navagraha Devatanam Arista Nirashana Dvara Shubha Pala Pradhachitva Siddhyartam Hita Drishti Ahita Drishti Paradrishti Krura Drishti Vachaka Drishyadi Sakala Drishti Abhada Upasam Manartham Hita Shatru, Ahita Shatru, Parashatru, Antas Shatru, Bahis Shatru, Ityadi Samasta Shatru Bhada Nirasan Sanatam Asmin Grihe, again, instead of Grihe, you can say Prasade, right? The locative singular of temple. Which means Grihe means in the house. Prasadi would mean in the temple, or in this temple. Nivasitanam manasi thuka vina, kastam vina, papam vina, sukha jivana praptyartam, asya yajamanasya, putra pautradi, sahitasya, asmin, nutana. The word nutana here means new. So if it's a new construction, you put this word nutana. If it's not a new construction, you don't put the word nutana. Grihe, once again, grihe can be for a house, prasade for a temple. Chira kala sukha nivasartam nanavida roga sarvo padrava shantyartam sampad ayurarogya dvipada chatuspada Nana Vidahimsa Dosha Parihara Dvara Vastoho Subhadha Samsidaye Vastu Shanti Mantra Japam Pujam Karisye. Right? Now, that's if you're going to do it without a homa, without a fire ceremony. If you are going to do it with a fire ceremony, then the last section in the brackets here is said instead of this second last section. So we would otherwise say, if we're going to do a homa, Vastu Shanti Homakyam Karma Karisye. So there are these two things. There's the Vastu Shanti Mantra Japa Puja, and there's a Vastu Shanti Homa to be done. Okay, so or we could put both of them in there. We could say Vastu Shanti Mantra Japa Pujam, Vastu Shanti Homakyam Cha, and Karma Karisye. Right, and as well as doing that main ceremony, the attendant ceremonies, the smaller ceremonies that go along with that, are going to be mentioned next. Tarangatvena, as an anga of this particular ceremony, right? Antakarana Sudhyatam, Sharira Sudhyatam, Griha Sudhyatam, Bandakupa Mandapa Sudhyartam, Sarvopakarana Sudhyartam, Sudi Punya Archenem Karisye. Okay, so I'm going to perform the Punya Archenem for purifying. Now we have a few different types of Punya Archenem, or for different purposes, let's say. Here also the word Griha Sudhyatam, If it's for a temple, you have to say prasada shuddhyatam, for purifying the temple or for purifying the house, for purifying the body, for purifying the internal organs, the senses, right? The soul, of course, is always pure, but the antakarana, the subtle body, and the sharira, the gross body, have to be purified, right? So here, this word banda, kupa, of course, means well. So if we're sanctifying a well, we do punya archenem, and we create holy water in a pot like that. Afterwards, we pour the holy water into the well, and the well becomes purified. Now, this happens sometimes when people renovate a well. When people renovate a well, they will do this. They will do this, and because dirt and different things get in the well, and the well needs cleaning, and so what happens is often you send a person down in the well, and the person digs out all the silt in the well, and the person's feet are in the water of the well, as well as maybe the person is working there in the well, so the water becomes contaminated in that sense, ritually impure. And so we have to purify the well again after that by doing punya archenem and putting the punya archenem water in the well. So in that case, we would use the word kupa. The word mandapa means a pavilion. So if we have a particular pavilion, like a gazebo or a building that has a roof, but maybe the sides are open, a pavilion, we call a mandapa, either made of stone or whatever material like that. To purify that, you can use that word mandapa. This other word banda has to do with pots. In the kitchen, either in the temple, or the temple kitchen is called the matapali in Tamil. In the matapali in the temple kitchen, or in the house kitchen, we have pots that we cook boga offerings for the Lord, for the deity in the temple or the deity in the house. And those pots are pure. Now, if those pots somehow become defiled by being touched by persons who are not initiated or not Vaishnavas or whatever it is, or by being somehow or other defiled by some impure substance or impure contact or whatever it is, then we have to again purify those pots. And the way to purify those pots is again to do the punya archenem, get the holy water from the punya archenem and sprinkle or wash those pots with those things. Okay, so those are those three. There are other things that we could purify, and if we need to purify other things, then we can find the Sanskrit word for that thing that we're purifying, and we can insert that there. Okay, so after this Sankalpa, then the Vigneshwara Puja or the Ganesha Puja has finished, or if it's Vishwaksena Puja, that's finished. So we do the Udvasanam of either Vigneshwara, if we worship Ganesh, or Vishwaksena if we worship Vishwaksena, which means that we have to valedict them, send them back to the place where they're serving the lords. And then we continue with the Punya Archenem. So the Punya Archenem, this is a pretty standard Punya Archenem, Krishna Yajurveda Punya Archenem. We do the invocation of Varuna in the pot. And this is a very common mantra that we all know from Sandhya Vandana. So we're going to invoke Varuna into the pot, to come into the pot and worship him in the pot. So here are the mantras. Imam me Varuna Shruti Havamadhya Tramidaya Tvamavasura Chake Tatvayami Brahmana Vandana Vandamana Tadasha Ashte Yajamano Havidbihi Ahedamano Varune Habudyurushakum Cha Samana Ayu Pramoshihi. Here it said Pramoshish, but actually that should be Pramoshihi at the end of Visarga. Okay, because there's no word coming after it, so there would be no reason for the Sandhi to change Visarga to an S. Okay, then we say Asmin Kumbe, which means in this pot, Varunam Dhyayami Avahiyami. So, and we could say Stapyami also. We are meditating on Varuna. We are invoking Varuna. We're calling Varuna to come, and we are establishing Varuna. Now we run through the different upacharas. of the puja, the different services that are offered to Varuna in the pot. Asanam samarpayami, argyam samarpayami, ajam samarpayami, achmanam samarpayami, snanam samarpayami, vastratan akshatan samarpayami, pavitam samarpayami, gandam samarpayami, pushpai pujayami. When we come to pushpai pujayami, we're going to be offering flowers. Here are some names of Varuna that are used in the Nama Archenem or the flower offerings. Om Varunaya Namaha, Om Prachedase Namaha, Om Surupine Namaha, Om Apampare Namaha, Om Makaradvahanaya Namaha, Om Jaladipade Namaha, Om Pashahastaya Namaha, Om Varunaya Namaha. So then we offer incense, lamp, and food. So there's a mistake here in the food. This should be naivedyam, not nivedyam. That's a spelling mistake. Okay, so here we have dhupam samarpayami, deepam samarpayami, naivedyam samarpayami. Then afterwards, the offering of betel nut, tambulam samarpayami. Then kapura nirajanam samarpayami. That can be offered. The kapura nirajanam, kapura means camphor, and nirajanam means a lamp. Okay, so after that, we chant the Gayatri of Varuna. Om Jalabhimbhaya Vidmahe, Nila Pushpaya, Nila Purushaya, Dhimahi, Tanno Varuna Prachodayate. Now we're going to have a series of Vachanams and Pradivachanams. The Yajamana and the priest. The Yajamana is going to say some things, and then the priests are going, the Ritvik priests, where the assistant priests are going to reply. So in the case of having a deshika or an acharya or a head priest, the head priest is going to say the words first, because many times the yajamana doesn't know the words. So then the yajamana is going to repeat after the head priest, and then another priest, right, is going to say the prativachanam. If you only have one person there, one priest, then the priest who is doing this will prompt the yajamana by first of all saying, repeat after me, and then he will say the vachana, the first part, and then the priest himself will reply with the prativachana. So here are the series of calls and replies. Bhavadbihi anugyataha punyaham vachayishe om vachitam punyaham bhavanto bhavantu om punyahamastu karmane swasti bhavanto bhavantu om karmane swasti astu Riddhi. This should probably be Riddhim. Riddhim. A little bit of a spelling mistake here. Riddhim Bhavanto Bhavantu Om Karma Riddhyatam. Okay. With the following declarations, pour a little water on the top of the kumbha. So if you have a karaka, a spouted water pot, you can just pour some water on the top of the kumbha. It means on the top of the coconut on top of the pot that you're doing the Punya in, you're called Varuna. Om Riddhirastu, Samriddhirastu, Punyaha Samriddhirastu, Shantirastu, Pushtirastu, Tushtirastu, Vriddhirastu, Avignamastu, Ayushamastu, Arogyamastu, Om Shivam Astu, Om Shivam Karmastu, Om Karma Samriddhirastu, Om Dharma Samriddhirastu, Om Veda Samriddhirastu, Om Shastra Samriddhirastu, Om Dhanadanya Samriddhirastu, Om Putra Potra Sampadastu, Om Ishta Sampadastu. Pour a little water out to the Nairitya cone. So, Nairitya cone. The Nairitya cone is the southwest, so pour a little water out to the southwest, right? Om Sakalarista Nirasanam Astu Om Yat Papam Rogam Shokam akalyanam tat ture patihatam astu. Pour again some water on the top of the kumbha, on the top of the Chatrapala, on top of the coconut, on top of the kumbha. Sarva shobhanam bhavatu, sarva sampada santu, om sanno astu dvipade, sam chatuspade, om shanti shanti shanti. Next comes the chanting of Dadikravno mantra, Apohista mantra, and the Pavamana Suktam, right, which is typical for Punya Archenem. Like that. If you don't want to do Punya Archenem here, you can of course do the Kumbha Puja. You can do what we call Khalasha Puja, which is a shortened form of Punya Archenem to make holy water. If you want to do it in a more elaborate way, you can perform what is called Udaka Shanti, in which case the mantras are either shortened for the Khalasha Puja or lengthened for the Udaka Shanti. But in the middle, we have the normal situation where people do the Punya Archenem. So, Darikrab Novakarisham Jishno Aswasya Vajina Suravino Mukakarati Prani Yugam Sitarisate Apohistama Yova Tano Jedratana Meherna Chakse Yova Shivat Morasa Hatasya Bhaja Tehanaha Usatiri Vamatara Hatasma Arangamama Vahai Shakshaya Jimbata Apo Janiata Chanaha. Right? And then from here on, we have the Pavamana Suktam. Hiranyavanna Suchaya Pavaka Yasu Jata Kasyapo Yasvindraha. As with all these Vedic mantras, you should get the proper pronunciation by learning it from someone, a Vedapati, or from getting the audio from me, and learning by hearing the audio of a person who is Vedapati, who knows the Veda fully, properly. Agnim ya garbam dadire virupas tana apa sagas shona bhavantu yashagum raja varuno yati madhye satyanvite avapashyan jananam marus chutas shuchayo ya papakastha na apas sagasyona bhavantu yasam deva divi krinvanti baksham ya antarikshe bahuda bhavanti ya prithivim payashon danti sukrasthana apassagasyona bhavantu shive nama chakshusha pasya tapas shivaya tanuvopa sprishyata tvacham me sarvagum agnigum rapsu shado uve vo mayi varcho bhalam ojo vidata pavamana suvarjanaha pavitrena vacharsinihi yapo dasa punatumam devajanaha punatu manavodiya punatu vishva avyaya yava jataveda pavitravat pavitrena punahima shukrena devati didyate agne kritva kratugum vanu yatte pavitram archasi agne vitatam antara ramatena punimahe ubabhyam deva savitaha pavitrena savena cha idam brahma punimahe vaishvadevi punati devyagat yasyai vavish tanavo pita prishtaha taya madantas sadhyam adyeshti vayagashyam patayo rayinam vaishvarano rashmibir ma punatu vata pranene shiro mayobuhu Dyava Prithvi Payasa Payobihi Utavari Yagniye Mapuna Punitam Vihadbis Savitas Tribihi Parshister Deva Manmabihi Agne Dakshay Punahima Yena Deva Apunata Yena Po Divyang Kashaha Tena Divyena Brahmana Idam Brahma Punimahe Yaf Pavamanir Adyeti Rishibis Sampitagum Rasam Sarvagum Sapuna Utam Ashnati Svaditam Matarishvana Pavamanir Yo Adyeti Rishibis Sambritagum Rasam Tasmai Saraswati Duhe Chiragum Sarpir Marudakam Pavamanis Swastajanihi Sudugduga Hi Ayaspati Vishibis Sambrito Rasaha Brahmaneshvamritagum Hitam Pavamani Dishantunaha Imam Loka Ato Amum Kaman Samadhayan Tudna Devir Devai Sambritaha Pavamanis Swastanihi Suduga Ki Gritas Tritaha Vishipis Sambrito Rasaha Brahmaneshvamritagum Hitam Yena Deva Pavitrena Atmanam Punate Sada Tena Sahasradadena Parvamanya Punatuma Prajapatyam Pavitram Satodhyamagum Hiranmayam Tena Brahmavido Vayam Puta Brahma Punimahe Indras Suniti Sahama Punatu Somasvatya Varunas Samichya Yamo Raja Pramrinnabihi Punatuma Jata Veda Murjayantya Punatu Om Bhurbhuvasuvaha Tachamyo Ravrani Mahe Gatum Yagyaya Gatum Yagyapataye Devi Swastirastunaha Swastirmanushebhyaha Urdvam Jigatu Beshajam Shamno Astu Drivade Samchatuspade. And you can add Om Shanti 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 at the end of that too. Then we come up to here Varuna Udvasanam. So that is the end of Varuna's stay in the pot. We ask Varuna to, we valedict Varuna and ask him to leave. After we do that, then we can do Prokshanam. We can take water from the pot, and with the puja and the leaves, we can use it for sprinkling. So here's the mantra for sprinkling. Devastva Savita Prasave Shvino Bahubhyam Ushno Hasta Abhyagum Saraspatyai Vacho Yanto Yantrenagnis Tva Samrajena Vishinchami Drupadadi Ben Mumuchanaha Svinnas Natvi Maladiva Utam Pavitrena Evajam Apasundantu Mainasaha Om Bhurbhavasuvaha Om Bhurbhavasuvaha Om Bhurbhavasuvaha. Otherwise, it could be also Om Bhurbhavasuvaha Bhurbhavasuvaha Bhurbhavasuvaha. Okay, so then prasanam means sipping the water. So the holy water is sprinkled, and then the holy water from the Punya Archenem can be sipped by the Yajamanas, the people who are the sponsors of the puja. Apa idva u vasha jir apo amiva chatanihi. Apas sarvasya beshajis tha me krinvantu beshajam. Okay, so that is the mantra for sipping or prasana, sipping of the water. Now, in the pot, and we might have different pots for this, we're going to invoke different devatas or different gods into the different pots. So first we're going to invoke Vani Hiranyagarbha. So Vani Hiranyagarbha means Saraswati and Brahma in the pot. Asmin Kumbhe Vani Hiranyagarbham Dhyayami Om Vedatmanaya Vidmahe Hiranyagarbhaya Dhimahi Tanno Brahma Prachodayate Om Vagdevyai Cha Vidmahe Brahma Patnyai Cha Dhimahi Tanno Vani Prachodayate. So those are the two Gayatris for Brahma and Saraswati. Om Bhurbhava Suvaha Sangam Sayudam Vani Hiranyagarbhau Jayami Avahiyami Stapayami Gandakshita Pushpani Samarpayami Om Vani Hiranyagarbhabhyam Namaha. So we invoke them, we call them, and we worship them. And this can be done in a very simple way like this is here, or it can be done in a more complicated way by offering all of the upacharas, etc. Here, what he's done is he said Gandakshita Pushpani. So if we offer flower petals with dipped in sandalwood paste with some rice, some colored rice, which is akshata, and we imagine that we're offering all of the upacharas to these deities in this pot. In this case, Brahma and Saraswati. So the same is going to happen for all these other pots. Or if we have only one pot, then we can call all of these different deities one by one into the pot. We could also call all the deities, and after calling all the deities, we could then worship all of the deities together in the pot. So that's different ways, depending on the time that you have, depending on the whether the ritual is more elaborate or lesser elaborate, you can do it in different ways. Asmin Kumbhe Lakshmi Narayanam Dhyayami Om Narayanaya Vidmahe Vasudevaya Dhimahi Tanno Vishnu Prachodayate Om Mahadevyai Cha Vidmahe Vishnu Patnyai Cha Dhimahi Tanno Lakshmi Prachodayate Om Bhurbhava Suvaha Sangam Sayudam Lakshmi Narayana Dhyayami Avahiyami Stapayami Gandakshita Pushpani Samarpayami Om Lakshmi Narayana Bhyam Namaha. Third, Asmin Kumbhe Gauri Maheshwara. That's for Lakshmi Narayana, of course. Now we're going to do Gauri Maheshwaram, which means Shiva and Parvati, or Gauri. Asmin Kumbhe Gauri Maheshwaram Dhyayami Om Tat Purushaya Vidmahe Mahadevaya Dhimahi Tanno Rudra Prachodayate Om Kanambikaye Vidmahe Mahatapaye Dhimahi Tanno Gauri Prachodayate Om Bhurbhava Suvaha Sangam Sayudam Gauri Maheshwarao Dhyayami Avahiyami Stapayami Gandakshita Pushpani Samarpayami Om Gauri Maheshwarabhyam Namaha. Now another pot with Durga in it. Asmin Kumbhe Durgam Devim Dhyayami. You don't have to say Durgam Devim, you can say Durga Devim. Like that, make it one word like that. Asmin Kumbhe Durga Devim Dhyayami Om Katyayanaya Vidmahe Kanya Kumari Dhimahi Tanno Durgi Prachodayate Om Bhurbhava Suvaha Sangam Sayudam Durgam Dhyayami Avahiyami Stapyami Gandakshita Pushpani Samarpayami Om Durgaye Namaha. Next pot we'll have Ganesh in it, Mahaganapati. Om Asmin Kumbhe Mahaganapatim Dhyayami Om Ekadantaya Vidmahe Vakratundaya Dhimahi Tanno Dandik Prachodayate Om Bhurbhava Suvaha Sangam Sayudam Mahaganapatim Dhyayami Avahiyami Stapyami Gandakshita Pushpani Samarpayami Om Ganapataye Namaha. Or it could be Gam Ganapataye Namaha. It's fine. Or it even could be Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Okay, so the next part, the sixth part, is going to be Chatrapala. The Chatrapala is usually meditated upon the form of Shiva that protects the place, Chatrapala. Om asmin kumbe Chatrapalan dhyayami bhuta preta pisacha dhyair avritam shulapaninam avahaye Chatrapalam karman yasmin sukaya naha Om Bhurva Suvaha Sangam Sayudam Chatrapalan Dhyayami Avahayami Stapayami Gandakshita Pushpani Samarpayami Om Kshetrapalebhyo Namaha. Okay, so that is in plural. So it actually means the different guardians of the place. Chatrapalan and Chatrapalebhyo are plural. So there's more than two of them. Okay, so now we're going to do the same thing. We've done 6 pots so far. Now we're going to do 7 pots. Once again, if you don't have 7 pots, you can invoke them all in one pot. The Astadikpalakas, which are the 8 directional deities, the deities who protect the 8 directions. So, pot number 7. Asmin kumbe purva dikpalakam Indram Dhyayami Purva, starting in the east. Purva is the east. So you're going to see we're going to do the different, we're going to go from the east and go clockwise around as usual. So Purva, east, Agneya, southeast, Dakshina, south, Nairiti, southwest, Paschima, west, like that. So Asmin Kumbe Purva Dikpalakam Indram Dhyayami Om Tat Purushaya Vidmahe Sahasrakshaya Dhimahi Tanno Indra Prachodayate Om Bhurva Suvaha Sangam Sayudam Sashaktim Indram Dhyayami Avahiyami Stapiyami Gandakshita Pushpani Samarpayami Om Indraya Namaha. Om, next one. Asmin Kumbe Agneya Dikpalam Agnim Dhyayami Om Mahajwalaya Vidmahe Agnim Agnaya Dhimahi Tanno Agnit Prachodayate Om Bhurva Suvaha Sangam Sayudam Sashaktim Agnim Dhyayami Avahiyami Stapayami Gandakshita Pushpani Samarpayami Om Agnaye Namaha. And of course, there are different Agni Gayatris. This Gayatri is a little unfamiliar to me of Agni. There's Vaishvaranaya Vidmahe Lali Laya Dhimahi Tanno Agnit Prachodayate, which is the normal one that we know, I think, which is from Mahanarana Upanishad. So we can insert that there instead of this one. Any Gayatri that you know of Agni. Okay. So the same with the other deities. If you know alternate Gayatris, you can use the Gayatri mantra to meditate upon that particular deity, to invoke that deity. So, number 9, Asmin Kumbe Dakshina Dikpalakam Yamam Dhyayami Om Tat Purushaya Vidmahe Dharma Rajaya Dhimahi Tanno Yama Prachodayate Om Bhurva Suvaha Sangam Sayudam Sashaktim Yamam Dhyayami Avahiyami Stapayami Gandakshita Samarpayami. Gandakshita. It should be here. It should be Gandakshita Pushpani Samarpayami. So there's a mistake here. He hasn't copied Pushpani here. Gandakshita Pushpani Samarpayami Om Yamaya Namaha. This is in the south. Now we're talking about the southwest. Nairitya. Asmin Kumbe Nairiti Dikpalakam Niritam Dhyayami. There's a mistake here. This first R here, it should be an R and not a Ri. There's not, cannot be 2 Ris together. So it's near, N-I-R, and Ri, T-I-M. Rit, T-I-M. So that's how it's spelled. Okay, so Asmin Kumbe Nairiti Dikpalakam. The mistake is also here. Okay, Nairiti Dikpalakam Niritim Dhyayami Om Tat Purushaya Vidmahe Pretarajaya Dhimahi Tanna Niriti Prachodayate Om Bhurva Suvaha Sangam Sayudam Sashaktim Niritim Dhyayami Avahiyami Stapayami Gandakshita Pushpani Samarpayami Om Nairitaye Namaha. So, number 11, Asmin Kumbe Paschima Dikpalakam Varunam Dhyayami Om Jalabimbaya Vidmahe Nila Purushaya Dhimahi Tanno Varuna Prachodayate Om Bhurva Suvaha Sangam Sayudam Sashaktim Varunam Dhyayami Avahiyami Stapayami Gandakshina Pushpani Samarpayami Om Varunaya Namaha. Number 12, in the Vayavya, Paschima was the west, so northwest, Vayavya. Asmin Kumbe Vayavya Dikpalakam Vayum Dhyayami Om Bhavana Purushaya Vidmahe Sahasramurtaye Chadimahi Tanno Vayu Prachodayate Om Burbhava Suvaha Sangam Sayudam Sasaktim Vayum Dhyayami Avahiyami Stapayami Gandakshira Pushpani Samarpayami Om Vayave Namaha. The next one is going to be in the north. Asmin Kumbe Uttara Dikpalakam Kuberam Dhyayami Dhyayami Om Tat Purushaya Vidmahe Dana Rajai Dimahi Tanno Kubera Prachodayate Om Burbhava Suvaha Sangam Sayudam Sasaktim Kuberam Dhyayami Avahiyami Stapayami Gandakshira Pushpani Samarpayami Om Kuberaya Namaha. 14. Asmin Kumbe Aishanyam, this is the northeast. Aishanyam Dikpalakam Ishanam Dhyayami Om Tat Purushaya Vidmahe Mahadevaya Dhimahi Tanno Ishana Prachodayate Om Burbhava Suvaha Sangam Sayudam Sashaktim Ishanam Dhyayami Avahiyami Stapayami Gandakshira Pushpani Samarpayami Om Ishanaya Namaha. Now we're doing the Navagrahas. Om Asmin Kumbe Surya Graham Dhyayami Om Bhaskaraaya Vidmahe Mahadhyutikaraya Dhimahi Tanno Aditya Prachodayate Om Burbhava Suvaha Sangam Sayudam Sasaktim Suryam Dhyayami Avahiyami Stapayami Gandakshira Pushpani Samarpayami Om Suryaya Namaha. Then Chandra Om Asmin Kumbe Chandra Grahanam Dhyayami Om Nishakaraya Vidmahe Kalanataya Dhimahi Tannas Chandra Prachodayate Om Burbhava Suvaha Sangam Sayudam Sashaktim Chandram Dhyayami Avahiyami Stapayami Gandakshira Pushpani Samarpayami Om Somaya Namaha. Now we're doing Angaraka, Mars. Om Asmin Kumbe Angaraka Graham Dhyayami Angaraka Om Angarakaya Vidmahe Bhumi Putraya Dhimahi Tanna Puja Prachodayate Om Burbhava Suvaha Sangam Sayudam Sashaktim Angarakam Dhyayami Avahiyami Stapayami Gandakshira Pushpani Samarpayami Om Pujaya Namaha. Now we're doing Buram, Mercury. Asmin Kumbe Buram Buragrahanam Graham Dhyayami Om Somyakaraya Vidmahe Somasutaya Dhimahi Tanno Buddha Prachodayate Om Burbhava Suvaha Sangam Sayudam Sashaktim Buddham Dhyayami Avahiyami Stapayami Gandakshira Pushpani Samarpayami Om Buddhaya Namaha. Next, Brihaspati or Jupiter. Asmin Kumbe Brihaspati Graham Dhyayami Om Suracharyaya Vidmahe Surashrestaya Dhimahi Tanno Guru Prachodayate Om Burbhava Suvaha Sangam Sayudam Shaktim Brihaspatim Dhyayami Avahiyami Stapayami Gandakshira Pushpani Samarpayami Om Gurave Namaha. Next is Shukra or Venus. Om Asmin Kumbe Shukram Dhyayami Om Bhargavaya Vidmahe Brigushutaya Dhimahi Tannas Shukra Prachodayate Om Burbhava Suvaha Sangam Sayudam Sashaktim Shukram Dhyayami Avahiyami Stapayami Gandakshira Pushpani Samarpayami Om Shukraya Namaha. Then next is Sanaishchara or Saturn. Om Asmin Kumbe Sanaishchara Graham Dhyayami Om Pangupadaya Vidmahe Kakadvajraya Dhimahi Tannas Sanaishchara Prachodayate Om Burbhava Suvaha Sangam Sayudam Sashaktim Sanaishcharam Dhyayami Avahiyami Stapayami Gandakshira Pushpani Samarpayami Om Sanaishcharaya Namaha. Next is Rahu. Asmin Kumbe Rahu Graham Dhyayami Om Nagarupaya Vidmahe Simhi Putraya Dhimahi Tanno Rahu Prachodayate Om Burbhava Suvaha Sangam Sayudam Sashaktim Rahum Dhyayami Avahiyami Stapayami Gandakshira Pushpani Samarpayami Om Rahave Namaha. Last one. Asmin Kumbe Ketu Graham Dhyayami Om Chitravarnaya Vidmahe Chitraguptaya Dhimahi Tanno Ketu Prachodayate Om Burbhava Suvaha Sangam Sayudam Sashaktim Ketum Dhyayami Avahiyami Sapiyami Gandakshara Pushpani Smarpiyami Om Ketave Namaha. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to the Vastu Purusha Puja again. We're going to worship the Vastu Purusha. So because we're running out of time today, we are going to stop here and we're going to continue on in the next section